Now to the meat and potatoes of what makes the world go round. Money, money, money. Taxes. And a dirty word for many people, but for us, it's when we think about our children and why we need an Operation Levy. I want to talk about that for a minute. So let's talk about the tax levy. But before we do, I need to speak briefly about a few questions from the public that they had about some events which have been ongoing. Go back to the first one. One of the main questions I have had is, what are you going to spend this money on? I can tell you that we have to, when I came here at the beginning of the year, was some things were in disrepair. And we have spent the year remodeling, just upkeeping, like we said, the sidewalks, buildings that were leaking. We had 15 windows knocked out, just improving and taking care as responsible stewards of the buildings that we have. Further, something that has disappeared over the past few years, is the career and technical education offered to our students. We are a rural community with students who have great talent. They live on farms. They need to weld. They need to be able to build. We need plumbers. We need people to be able to sew, both male and female, and to cook. And for some reason, over time, those skill sets have gone on the back burner. And so what we would like to do, because for the sake of our graduating class and our students growing up, they need to be reintroduced to career technical education so that they have those talents and skills. For example, as in our competitive welding class, they will be able, under the tutelage of Zach Wheeler, to graduate and go directly into the workforce with a significant income. It's not all about college, it's also about the workforce. So another question I keep getting is about, if you're going to have career and technical education, why did you sell all of that equipment in November? Well, the equipment used during our prior career and technical courses, such as woodworking, were outdated and will not pass OSHA safety standards. Some items were broken, they didn't have safety covers over the saws, and they do not meet current safety requirements. I like to give it to you like this. If we're going to have driver's ed, I'm not going to give you a 1970 Pinto with no driver's ed laps. What do you call them? Seatbelts. Instead, I'm going to put my students in a car with seatbelts, safety, driver, the important things. The same thing is true in the shop. I'm not going to put a brand new shop in with a big bandsaw with no safety covers on it and cut all their fingers off. So that's why we had to get rid of everything in order to, when we do expand back to wood shop, we can have those devices which are safe and our children can learn on for the workforce. Having addressed those questions, I now wish to explain the meat and potatoes of why we need an operating levy. On April 4, 2023, we are asking our voting patrons to vote yes on Proposition Kids at the polls. So what is an operational levy? Well, this levy makes up the difference between funding from the state and federal government, which I usually talk about through the grants we receive from the American Rescue Act, from the federal taxes we receive, etc. And they make up the difference between those and the cost of the district to provide programs and upkeep at our facilities. One of the reasons that we haven't had proper upkeep of our facilities before the COVID pandemic was a lack of an operational tax, because currently we have a $2.75 operational tax, which is the lowest tax in Missouri, and it has not increased for over 30 years. So, and I've used this example before. A school bus used to cost $40,000. That's back in the day when we had a $2.75 beginning. Guess what? It now costs $150,000, but we're still getting a $2.75 tax levy. Times have changed, and so we need to offer our students the same opportunity as other school districts. What we are going to be asking for is a 10-cent per year for 5-year operational tax levy. On the next screen, I'm going to talk to you a minute about school district tax levies, and I'm going to go more in depth with it. If you have any questions about what the true operational tax levies are for any Oregon County property, you may go into the courthouse and ask for a copy from Tracy Bridges, and she will tell you that Couch is at 4.1081, Fair is at 3.6702. They'll give you this paper that shows that. Koshkonong is at 4.0432. Alton is at 275. Winona is at 275. The data I show are accurate, and you can also find them on the Department of Elementary and Secondary Annual Secretary of the Board site, for which I provided a link on the district website. If you go to alton.k12.mo.us, is that our address? Mm-hmm. Okay. I have put up there an April 4 button for the tax levy, and on that page, I have created myself a calculator, which I'll talk about in just a second. And you'll be able to go in and take your 22 taxes and poke them into the two spots for both property and personal. It will tell you exactly how much it will increase for each year. This money's not going to go to the teacher's salaries. We actually have zero debt service. We have no capital projects, and we have no special project money to increase teacher salaries. What we have is a blanket tax levy, a flat tax levy of $275. Winona and Alton are at the bottom of the list. So on the next one, if we were to pass this 50 cents levy, regardless of how people try to rebuttal this back straight from the state of Missouri, you can look it up yourself. That will put us at $3.25, which is below imminent, and only above Summersville, Kabul, and Winona. It's a very low tax levy, and I feel like if we wish for our schools to be competitive, and we wish for our schools to have the nice services of other school districts, then we have to invest in an operational levy to be able to offer the same things that those schools might offer to our students. For example, the band. That's not a small undertaking. On the next page, I'm going to give you the web address where you can go find for yourself what the tax levies are for every school district in the state of Missouri. If you go to https://apps.desi.mo.gov/ASBR, it will take you to the annual secretary board report for every school in the state of Missouri. When you click on that, you can see that you'll be given an opportunity to search by code or by name. Click on name, and it'll put all the schools in alphabetical order. You'll be able to go through every school district in the state of Missouri, look at what their ASBR report says. When you get to that page, it will say ASBR report right at the front, and you'll click on it, okay? When you do click on it, the very first thing that pops up on a school secretary of the board report is the tax levy. Now, it's important for people to remember that the total all funds of levies is what that district is paying for tax levy, regardless of whether it is in the general fund, which is ours, or the special revenue fund, or a debt service fund, or a capital projects fund. All of those combined make up the tax levy of that district. Are there any questions about that? So we are at 275, which is the lowest, along with 60 other districts in the state of Missouri at 500 plus. I have had the opportunity to speak with Doug Bridges, and he's provided some information to me about tax calculations. He said that anybody that had a question, anybody that has a question about their particular taxes and how it will impact their particular taxes, he's welcome to come talk to him about it. These are some things that he did tell me about appraised value and valuation. Total appraised value on land, residence, commercial properties is how the levy tax is found, which is what I just explained to you. And the total appraised value is then multiplied by a percentage depending on what is put in the system as residential, agricultural, or commercial properties. Residential properties are assessed at 19% of their value. Agricultural land properties now are at 12% of value, and commercial properties are at 32%. He did tell me that you take your assessed value and you multiply it by the levy depending on what taxing district you live in. And as I showed you, if you want to go to the ASBR, or if you want to go in to talk to Tracy Bridges or Doug, they can give you a printout of what each of the Oregon County property tax levies are. And they're exactly as I've shown on this PowerPoint.
You do have to divide your assessed value by 100.
Yeah. And you're going to see that on the
calculator.
calculator.
Well, you didn't.
Yeah, I haven't got there yet. Okay, so on the next screen, I have actually devised a tax calculator through spreadsheet using our, so what you need to do is you can go to our website to April 4, 2023 tax levy. Push that button and it'll take you to a page that tells about our levy. And using your own, anybody, 2022 Alton County real estate tax and personal property tax receipts, you will locate your total assessed value for your real estate and personal property tax. And this is found in the top right-hand corner on your receipt. Using the real estate and personal property tax total assessed value, you will then enter the values in this calculator I've created in only two places. There are two yellow boxes. And in those yellow boxes, you will put the amount for your property and personal taxes. Go ahead. It looks like this. The tax calculator looks like this. And on the calculator, when you see where it says real estate and personal property, you take your 2022 evaluation price, your assessed value, and you click in there. When you do, next slide, it will automatically calculate the amount that you are going to increase for your annual cost. And you can see that if you happen to have a 5,000 assessed, if you had 19,000 assessed value of residential, and if you had 5,000 assessed value for a car, your monthly cost would increase by $2, and it would increase by $24 per year. And then it would increase the same amount for 5 years. The only way to determine what your cost will be is to use this calculator that I've given to you, and if you have any issues using it, let me know and I can help you through that. Or you can go into Doug Bridges and he will be able to help you determine the cost to you per year. All right? Are there any questions about that? All right. So, for the actual day of the vote on April 4, the Proposition Kids ballot will look like this. The Proposition Kid ballot will say, shall the Board of Education of the Alton R4 School District of Missouri be authorized to increase the operating tax levy by 10 cents per year for 5 years to $3.25. And I showed you where that will lie on the spectrum related to other school districts, which still toward the bottom. But it's not asking a tremendous amount to jump higher or to take on a debt service. If this proposition is approved, the adjusted operation tax levy of the district is, for me as a district leader, our students are most important. What can I provide for our students? What programs can I provide for our students? How do I treat our students to make sure that students in Alton have the same opportunities as students in West Plains? How can I make sure that they have a successful career, a successful placement in life? For me, the kids of Alton R4 deserve exactly the same opportunities as any other kid in Missouri. We live in a state where people have a $5 levy, and we expect our kids to compete. She's showing an APR. She's showing us all these programs these kids do. People ask me, why don't we have this? Why don't we have that? We have a $2.75 operation levy. That's why. I've heard, why don't we have band anymore? Why don't we offer welding, which we're going to do now, to place our students? The only thing preventing continued expansion are operational funds. Whether you like me or you dislike me, whether you like a teacher or dislike a teacher or administrator or anybody else in this school district, all that should matter to you is our children. It's not about personalities and liking people. It's about what can we do to increase the opportunity for our kids. The money from this levy will allow Alton to continue to grow and provide everything our kids deserve. I'm pleading with everyone who's listening who can hear this message to vote yes on April 4. Are there any questions from the board? Okay, I thank you all.
Thank you.